You need to be more like a dog. We don't need a bunch of cats in here looking in the mirror. Do I look good? I got my extra bands on. I got my other shoes on. We need more dogs.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson. All about that action.
Good. All about that action. Who won MVP last year?
Really? You can't look in the mirror?
No, I was that didn't land. Okay. So Lamar Jackson, the 2-time, one of the best players in football. Is it fair to talk about it's time to do something?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think I said this last year in our previews. I thought the way that the Ravens were lined up were they're a year away from being the Super Bowl team. Like, even though they had Henry, even though they had some nice additions, it was also kind of like I felt like they were relying on some stuff on their defense and on their O-line that was just a year away from being where I wanted to be to really consider you a strong Super Bowl contender. Obviously, when you have Lamar Jackson, you're always a Super Bowl contender on paper, but like I didn't see the pieces all lining up right. And this year I feel better about that. So I do like them this year. And I do agree with you. I think that it is like we got to start seeing Lamar win some of these playoff games, even though he's won one or two here, but like, he's got to do it in a convincing fashion.
Yeah. And it for some reason, it seems like the way they play football all year compared to how they play football in the playoffs. I don't know if it's a coaching thing. I don't know if they get nervous and they turtle up, but it seems like they don't play the same style of football in the playoffs like they do in the regular season, and it drives you crazy. That Tennessee game, 3 years ago, was freaking insane.
Yeah, that was nuts when Tractor Cito just went full tractor on them.
Yeah, but okay. So looking at this offense. They bring in D-Hop. What do you think about that? Because I mean, what is DeAndre Hopkins bringing to this team right now?
So this was actually a question that I was hoping to ask Spencer about because like I wanted to get his thoughts on it being such a strong tape evaluator. But from what I saw at D-Hop last year and the year before, like last year, you also need to remember he was playing on like a torn MCL all year. So that maybe that won't get better in his age. What is he? 32, 33 season. Maybe that's something that keeps burdening him.
Oh, he's got to be older than that. He's got to be pushing like 35.
All right. Well, let me know.
I'll let you know.
But as a number 3 option,
33.
33. So maybe that's something that he's always going to be playing through some injuries like that the rest of his career. The dude loves ball, and the dude made some plays last year at various points of the year. I'd be hopeful that is something that can improve with that, a full offseason of recovery from it. And like there were talks going into last year, like his knee is screwed. He shouldn't be playing on it. And then he just kept playing. So I do have some optimism there that he can become better than he was last year. And last year, I still think that he was an okay number 3 wide receiver for any team, really. It's just all about how dependable Rashad Bateman is to me. Because I think Zay Flowers is your steady Eddie.
Yeah, I love Zay Flowers in this offense. They have to find some production out of Bateman and D-Hop. And Isaiah Likely might be able to step up into that role. I mean, I think Andrews is still solid, but I mean, he definitely started showing his age last year, I think.
Yeah, I really struggled with Andrews because his production was still like near a blue chip level, but like I couldn't in good faith, I guess, or honestly put him in the blue chip tier just because of the way that the season ended last year and the way it started for him. He looked rough early on last year, and I'm not sure what to do with all that, because like he did come around and end up producing pretty well down the stretch. But then, I mean, I've heard rumblings about Isaiah Likely getting an expanded role, which makes me wonder, well, So were we right? Mark Andrews might not still be the same guy that he was.
Well, we kind of heard those rumblings last year, and then week 1 comes and he has that monster game, and then it's just back to Mark Andrews after that. Week 1, he had, I think, 2 touchdowns and like 100 yards opening week. And I just remember it because of the fantasy app implications, and everybody's sold on. I mean, I feel like it's trending towards likely, but I mean, Mark Andrews is still solid.
I almost wonder with Andrews, you bring in Derrick Henry, your offense becomes more geared towards truly like having that power run concept or run. I mean, I guess under Greg Roman, they had plenty of power runs in there, but like, I don't know. I wonder if it like the blocking is starting to catch up to him. Some of like his body just wearing down a little.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, and speaking of the power run, Derrick Henry, I mean, he was incredible for him last year. My only concern last year wasn't about the talent of Derrick Henry. It was, we see it with running backs all the time. Eventually it falls off. But I mean, shit, the way he looked last year, I'm not going to be the one to doubt him. I mean, Adrian Peterson was really the only one in recent history to really kind of buck the trend, and I mean, he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. So maybe Derrick Henry's the same way. I mean, some dudes are just built different, and Derrick Henry's definitely one of them. But he's got to stay healthy this year, and I don't think he has to do what he did last year, especially if some of these wide receivers step up and everything. But I mean, if he can still produce at a similar level, even if it's a little less, I mean, I think this offense is going to be absolutely lethal. I mean, anytime you have Lamar Jackson at quarterback, you're in a good spot.
I'm not I'm not expecting Derrick Henry to fall backwards much. Like, I mean, I got to see it before I believe it. Basically, after the boost that he got from playing next to Lamar and being able to play that 10-on-11 offense, like, I think he's still just going to be that dude. Now, I do in the weapons department. Devontae Walker's got to be able to see the field. Either that or maybe LeJohntay Webster. I'm not sure what LeJohntay Webster's 40 looked like.
Also,
they need some speed.
Is that Malik Cunningham from Louisville?
I think it is.
The quarterback?
I believe so.
That's awesome. Is that your Anthony Miller there?
Oh, yeah. Former Bears legend.
The former Bears legend. Who did you compare him to?
Who did I compare him to? I wasn't doing draft content yet, so.
It was a wow. It was, I think, a Hall of Famer.
Okay, well, if I compare him to a Hall of Famer, I can guarantee you this. I prefaced it with, this is probably a reach, but
dude, you had me so sold on Anthony Miller.
Dude, we were all sold on Anthony Miller, man. All us Bears fans. We were sold a bill of goods. And it never happened. The dude had like 11 touchdowns his rookie year.
Well, I watched him just have a monster season this year. He just finds his way into like the 3 spot and just blows up.
Done. But I hope we see Devontae Walker.
I loved him last year.
Way into this, like he ran a super simple route tree at North Carolina, like scary simple, but he has speed, and like this receiver room needs a burner. It needs a burner.
Yeah, and I agree with you too on the Bateman thing. I mean, he's got to make that next step. I mean, it feels like every time it seems like he's about to break out, he just doesn't.
Yeah, so there are reasons to believe, as there are every single year with Rashad Bateman, that he took a real step last year. Now, like I said, as there are every year with Rashad Bateman, it seems like this conversation keeps being had and the production hasn't really taken full effect. But like last year was, by PFF grades, I believe, his best year of his career. Matt Harmon, who does reception perception, I think he's charted Bateman as having like a really strong year last year. And like it wasn't bad. He put up 750 yards, 9 touchdowns. Like Bateman did do good stuff last year. It's just not the volume that of like some of the higher end receivers in the league. If he can do that, honestly, I don't even think he needs to take a step. If he can do what he did again last year, I think that takes enough pressure off D Hop to open him up some and like allow the tight ends to eat with like in this offense. Bateman doesn't need to be a suit. I don't. They don't need a true one because their run game is so strong and because of what Lamar provides with his legs and their tight end versatility there.
Yeah.
But Bateman needs to be good enough, and what he did last year was plenty good to continue for.
Yeah. I didn't realize he had that big of a season last year, but I don't watch the Ravens too closely, and usually it's just the Lamar show.
Yeah, so, and I mean, historically, the thing with Bateman has been health related too. So him staying on the field is big.
Did Zay Flowers get hurt last year? Am I remembering that correctly, or was that 2 years ago?
I don't think he got hurt. No, he played it. He played all 17 last year.
Okay, I thought he got hurt last year, but yeah, Zay Flowers is incredible. One of my favorite players in the league right now. So, lot to like about this skill positions on this team, absolutely, with the 2-time there and Derrick Henry and everything. So, let's talk about the big uglies and Tyler Linderbaum, and he's a monster.
Love Tyler Linderbaum, man. Dude just wrestles people, and it's beautiful.
I loved him in the draft. The Ravens just always seem to have these players fall into their laps.
Yeah, I mean, they do, and he's not like. I do really like Linderbaum. I think he's a really good center. He's one of the, like we mentioned earlier, there's only a handful of good centers in the league. He's one of them. But, like, he does have some concerns in pass pro. Just being a lighter guy with shorter arms, that's going to happen. Yeah. But he's such a good run blocker, and he's plenty serviceable in pass pro. He's such a good run blocker that, like, it's good. Like, the dude's a blue chip center. The dude understands the mental side of the game extremely well, understands positioning and angles. Like, he's just a top tier center. Now, the rest of the O-line, like Ronnie Stanley, I thought that he took a slight step back last year from where he was like earlier in his career, right? Like, but he stayed healthy. And that's probably if he can, he kind of similar with Bateman. If he can keep playing at the level that he did last year and stay healthy,
he'll be fine.
That's a win here. He is an above average left tackle in this league. He's not an all-pro anymore. He's not the top-tier guy, but he is still an above-average left tackle, and you'll take that day in, day out. At right tackle, I'm excited to see Roger Rosengarten in year 2 because he was one of my sleepers last year, and he came into this offense like fit like nothing, like just beautifully. And I was so happy to see him succeed. I want to see more of it from him. I think that he has a nice future ahead of him. And honestly, I was surprised he was as good in run blocking as he was. Like, he wasn't a world beater, but he was still a good run blocker, and I thought that was his weakness coming out of college. Like, he showed plenty of tenacity, but it was more like as a bit undersized, like his just ability to sheerly move people felt like a question to me. And I was glad to see him able to do it. A big part of that might be playing next to a hoss like Daniel Falele, right? Who's just can't really move, but he can move people.
I was also going to say, with the scheme and everything they have there and their skill positions in the backfield, it makes run blocking a little bit easier whenever you have a guy like Lamar Jackson back there because you can never really attack like you want to as a defensive lineman.
Yeah, and then keeping them on their toes. This offense does that so well too. Keeping them are they running? Are they passing?
Which is crazy. It brings me back to what they do in the playoffs. It's crazy, but
I can't explain it. To be fair, or to be clear, I haven't studied it either. You know, I'm sure if I went and watched all their playoff games versus the regular season games, like the coach tape, I could sit here and give a better reason for why it's happening.
Just on the eye test, I don't
like that answer either. So
but just on the eye test, it's just different. It's got to be infuriating. I know it's infuriating for Baltimore fans. So
now, one of my favorite picks in this draft,
Emory Jones,
pick 91. Emory Jones Jr. This dude is just a mauler. He's another guy. You want this guy to have your back in a bar fight. Like, this dude is just out there to hit people, and I love it. I would love to see him take a starting job here. whether it's Voorhees or Falele. Like, I just think Emory Jones is a great future at guard.
Just another example of a Baltimore Raven falling into the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah. I mean, hell, he was considered a reach where he was drafted. I had a top 75 grade on him, but most people had him in like the 120s to 150s. Like he was considered a reach. I love the guy though. I think he is just grit. He's a glass eater. He wants to beat you up. I love so much about his game. Just don't get penalties. That's the only thing that I could see really of his game. The discipline side is the bigger question there. On the field, off the field, I think he was clean as can be. But so I like their depth here too. Like,
and
Joe Noteboom, good backup. Ben Cleveland, Emory
Ben
Jones.
Cleveland.
Falele.
Yeah, I was gonna say you got some good veterans there that maybe you don't want them starting all year, but definitely can fill in a pinch. Absolutely.
I think this offense can eat. I think they're going to be hard to stop. Really hard to stop.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Them and the Bengals. Some of those battles are always some of the best we get every year. So moving on to the defense. All right, you want to start D-line or do you want to start DBs?
With this team, I think you got to start DBs.
Okay. So another prime example happened with Kyle Hamilton a couple of years ago. Happens again this year. Malachi Starks, I think, might be one of the best steals of the first round. I absolutely love this kid. I think he's going to be incredible, especially you put him next to Kyle Hamilton, and then you bring in a Jaire Alexander with Marlon Humphrey. You have some depth there with Chidobe and Nate Wiggins as well. I mean, there's just so much depth and talent in this DB room that, I mean, they're prepped to stop the Bengals. Absolutely. I mean, if anybody has the talent to slow down this Bengals pass offense, it's this defensive back room right here.
Yeah. I mean, start. I think you got to start this conversation with Kyle Hamilton always. He is such a versatile football player. He can do so much for your defense and he's
literally just like the definition of football player.
Yeah. Like
I love Kyle Hamilton.
You can build your defense around him and have him doing different roles every other play. Like he is just a very impressive player. And I mean, adding Malachi Starks to this room only makes it better. And I was lower on Starks than most people just because I watched his tape and I was like, but what does he do? You know, like it felt very much like he's just kind of there a lot. But people who know the cornerback position better than me have told me that he is a very impressive nickel corner, and having coverage skills like that at safety. And it's important to make the distinction. The college game and the NFL game are so different at the safety position that it's just hard to parse through the college tape and really feel like I have a strong feel on it, unless I'm just talking about center fielder. The center fielder or the downhill banger. Those are the two that are easy to spot in college. But like guys who are more of a split field or more can do it all, I have a harder time seeing. And that's what Stark's kind of supposed to be, that do-it-all guy. And his ability to play the nickel, with Hamilton's ability to play the nickel, with Humphrey's ability to play the nickel, with Jaire Alexander's ability to play the nickel, they've got a lot of mixing and matching here they can do to disguise stuff.
You know what I love about the Ravens organization? I mean, okay, so look at your blue chip players right here. You have Madubuike, you have Roquan Smith, you have Marlon Humphrey, you have Kyle Hamilton. And then look how much yellow we have on this board.
Yeah, I know. I had the same thought when I was putting this together. I was like, I love the way they've built their depth with so much, like, they have so much youth here.
Yeah, and I mean, they're one of the best teams in the league when it comes to drafting, and especially player development. You look at a guy like Mike Green, who fell for unfootball or for non-football reasons, but still an incredible talent. Yeah. And then, I mean, you just load up Peebles, Green, Buchanan, Longerbaum, Higgins, Cone, Lowry. Like, if they get three of these guys to hit on top of, I mean, I don't know who I don't know where they fit in. I mean, obviously the D-line guys are going to be rotation, but I mean, if you could get one or two of these guys outside of like a Malachi Starks giving you good reps, it's just insane. I mean,
yeah. Well,
I'm
on top of that, with the depth, like at corner too, you're talking Nate Wiggins was a good rookie year. He's going to be starting. Jaire Alexander, is he healthy? Will he be healthy? I don't know. He's really good when he's on the field. I'm really glad he's out of Green Bay. But like I was actually listening to Spencer Schultz's podcast, the Exit 52 podcast today, and he was talking about it. And I think he explained Jaire in a way that I've been thinking for the last few years, because as a Bears fan, I was watching Green Bay's tape preparing for my Bears podcast to like talk about Green Bay and talk about, what is Jaire Alexander. And like, I've always had this itching feeling with him of like, he's good. His instincts are really strong. And like, he plays a really feisty game, but like, he's also not very technically sound. He's a very creative player, was the way that Spencer said it. And like, he feels the game really well. It can get him in trouble at times, but like, you put him on a really good defense like this, it's going to be worth it more often than not, because you can play that style when you have this much talent around you. But if he goes down, you got your boy Chidobe Awuzie right behind him. You got TJ Tampa, who had like basically a redshirt year last year sitting behind him. Like, this depth is really nice. And then safety, Darius Washington coming back from injury at some point this year.
Yeah, and then you have to assume one of these rookies is going to look good in camp and kind of fly up the depth chart too. So
Aeneas Peebles was made to be a Raven. I love Aeneas Peebles. I love him so much.
Well, we can talk about the defensive line here. So Madubuike, one of the premier edge guys in the league right now.
But really D tackle. Like, so they run the 3-4. So he's really like a 4-tech kind of player.
Yeah, kind of over the tackle. But then Travis Jones, Broderick Washington, Kyle Van Noy. What is that? Odafe. Yeah, I mean, I feel like anytime I watch the Ravens, I feel like he's just all over the field.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one weakness on this defense, I do think it is the lack of premier defensive line talent. Like, Madubuike is great, but like the guys around him, they're good. I just wish they had a hellacious edge rusher. I wish they had that guy.
Yeah.
And maybe that can be Mike Green. Like that.
Yeah, it definitely has the ability to be.
Because Oweh's good, Van Noy's good, but like they don't have a bucket getter, right? They don't have a guy who's like, when you need a bucket, this guy will get you a bucket. It was supposed to be David Ojabo. That hasn't worked out to this point, with injuries just kind of derailing him. Maybe there's still something there, but like, I think if Mike Green can be that guy for them, this defense hits that like that level they were at 2 seasons ago, right? Where last year they struggled the first half and they became really good down the second half. But 2 years ago, they were just like consistently across the line great. And maybe they can be that with how deep the secondary is regardless, because you believe you can generate some pass rush with these guys. It's not like they lack for talent on the D line. I just wish they had like a premier edge.
Yeah. And then Broderick Washington, I feel like he's got to play better, but he's a big body there.
I think the grades don't do him justice, honestly. Like, I think that he's a mean physical football player who might not win at a high rate, but his impact is like, it's felt. He keeps getting on winning rosters for a reason. Like the guy he serves a role out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's not a whole lot to not like about this team and this roster, this defense specifically. And then we already talked about the offense. So, I mean, I wish our boy was here, because I would really like a deeper breakdown. But I mean, as an outsider looking at this team, it's like kicker killed him last year, which really sucks as a Ravens fan, having one of the greatest kickers of all time. And when kickers lose it, they lose it. I don't know what it is, a mental thing or what, but definitely hurt them last year. Hopefully, is that Tyler Loop? Is that his name that they took at 189? Hopefully he can step in for them and be that automatic guy that they got so accustomed to having.
I believe he's had
But-
some issues in camp here, but I mean,
That's what you were saying,
early.
yeah.
I
But
think I heard something
look
about
at-
that.
You look at this offense and defense, and it's like if special teams doesn't let them down, I mean, and Harbaugh's a special teams guy. I mean, he came up through the special teams, so you assume they're going to figure it out. And so you look at this team, 11.5 win total, playoffs minus 500, which is crazy for any team. I feel like division minus 145 and Super Bowl at 7-1.
Last year, I said I don't think they're there. Like, I don't think they're going to take down the Chiefs. I need to see some playoff wins. I said similar about the Bills. I said I thought the AFC was the Chiefs to lose last year. This year,
we kind of talked about it. I mean, the Chiefs had a down year and still
in
the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, they still went 15-2. Like, it was just a weird way of doing it. But like, I think this is the year someone else comes out of the AFC. I think it's the Ravens or the Bills this year. I think it's one of those two teams coming out of the AFC.
I don't know what the odds would be. Probably like 3-1 if you can just bet that a team from the AFC North represents the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I would probably take that at 3-1 or 2.5 to 1. It's probably plus 250, plus 300, somewhere around there. I might take that bet.
Yeah, I mean, I bet it's probably higher than that. Even I bet it's probably like 4 to 1.
Well, they're
the
plus
Bengals
700
were what, 2,100, 21 to 1
to win the Super Bowl.
Oh, to get there, you're saying?
Yeah, to represent the AFC.
Okay, I could buy that.
And yeah, and to win the Super Bowl, you'd probably be looking at 6.5. They're plus 700. Odds are going to come down a little bit, adding in the Steelers, and yeah, you're probably looking at 4.5, 5.5 to 1 to win the Super Bowl. I might still like that bet too.
Yeah, I mean, I really think the AFC is going to be a 2-team race this year, Bill, or not 2-team race. That's disrespectful, right? Like, Kansas City is still Kansas City, but like, I think if I'm putting my money on teams right now, it's the Ravens and the Bills come out of the AFC.
Yep. Oh man, it's going to be a battle. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
So for me, bet on that. Like, give me the Super Bowl, give me AFC champs, give me the over 11.5. Like that. The values on Super Bowl or AFC champs, though.
Yeah,
that's not even great value. Like, it's just kind of they're near favorites. So
yeah, and yeah, I mean, it just seems like if there's ever a time to get that monkey off your back, get over the hump, whatever you want to say, I feel like this is the year.
Me too. I think Kansas City is in the place where I thought Baltimore was last year, where they're like their roster is just it's a year away from where they should be to be that true Super Bowl contender. But Pat Mahomes is a great equalizer, so we'll see.
Yeah, and Lamar Jackson's got to be that for this team and come playoff time.
Yeah, and he put up 25 points against the Bills in the playoffs last year, and then the ball went through Mark Andrews' hands. Like they did. That was one of the more convincing games of Lamar Jackson playoff losses.
Yeah, looking like Tony Romo out there.
Whew.